Welcome to Crown Level Confidence with Kalia Janae, the podcast where we empower and inspire you to achieve unstoppable confidence and self-belief. I'm your host, Kalia Janae, a wife, mom, entrepreneur, as well as a certified life coach and motivational speaker with a background in humanities and communication. I'm excited to navigate this transformative journey with you. In each episode, I'll bring you candid conversations, practical tips, and inspiring stories from remarkable women who have conquered many challenges and risen to new heights. Get ready to have your crown straightened as we listen, learn, and laugh together so we can level up. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week of Crown Level Confidence podcast, Conversations with Kalia Janae. I am your super excited host here with a very special guest of mine this week. You guys give it up for Britney Lovely. Britney, say hey to everybody.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing out there?
Yes. I can't wait. One day maybe we'll be in a studio audience and you'll see everyone clapping and cheering and like, yeah.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Right now we'll lean into our imaginations. Okay, so y'all, let me tell you a little bit about Britney and then we'll dive into the conversation I know you're ready to be a part of, right? What she has to share and what she has to say. So Britney, married for 2 decades to her high school sweetheart since the tender age of 19, is the mother to 3 children aged 20, 17, and 11. That is a whole mouthful in and of itself, okay? She embarked on her motherhood journey at the age of 19. Britney has dedicated 21 years of her life to nursing, a profession she holds dear to her heart. Just a year ago, she delved into a new and exciting hobby, establishing herself as a plus-size fashion influencer. Yes. Remarkably, in only a year, she has forged partnerships with several renowned brands and cultivated an organic following of nearly 2,000 accounts of TikTok enthusiasts. In her earlier years, Britney was a dancer, a dance teacher, but currently she channels her passion for dance into coaching an energetic cheer team comprised of 11-year-olds. Oh my gosh. Patience of a saint, y'all.
Yes.
The amazing Britney is here. So, Britney, you know, this is the Crown Level Confidence, and we're here to lead women worldwide to lower their stress and raise their levels of confidence and in different areas of their lives, right? There's not just one universal blanket amount of confidence we have for everything. We wear so many different tiaras or crowns in our lives, right? We have different postures for the things that we do. So what advice overall would you give a young wife?
Oh my gosh. And thank you so much for reading that bio. Like, it's me, but it just sounds, I was like, oh my God, I guess I really have done all that. Like, it doesn't hit home until you, I guess, hear somebody else say it. But yes, being a young wife, being a wife, period, is hard. But being a young wife, I feel like I would just give that young wife the advice of to give yourself grace, and be patient with yourself. Like you mentioned, I got married at 19. So at 19, I thought I knew myself. And I thought I knew who I was. I thought I knew what I wanted in life. I thought I knew what it meant to have a husband and what a husband was supposed to be, and what a mom was supposed to be. And I was not any of those things. I didn't know myself. My husband didn't know himself fully. And we also didn't learn the life lessons of knowing that we grow and we change and evolve every day. So my advice to a young wife would just to be, give yourself grace. Every day is a journey. Take life one day at a time. Don't look too far ahead. Don't dwell on the past. Be present, be in the moment, and just know that you're going to make mistakes and that it's going to be okay. And as long as you keep God first and then your husband second, you're going to be just fine. And just knowing and realizing when you make mistakes that it's okay, and to learn from those mistakes. But definitely give yourself grace. You just got to be patient with yourself and know that everything's going to work out. Everything's going to be okay. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't know what the cutoff age is for a young wife, but I'm gonna grab onto that, okay?
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
I'm 5 years in with my husband,
Okay.
and we waited until our late 20s. And that
Mm-hmm.
was mainly, well, a large influence due to the fact that my parents were married at 19 and had me at 20.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of, what you're experiencing with your family are things I'm sure paralleled in my life
Yeah.
from my perspective as a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get all of that sometimes, and I don't know how my parents feel about this, but sometimes I often say I grew up with my parents, and that's
Yes,
not to mean any disrespect to them. It's just to
absolutely.
acknowledge that just because you're 18 doesn't mean you're done growing, right?
Exactly.
They were still very young, and I commend them. They're still married to this day, by the way.
Yes.
So, and
Mm-hmm.
went to prom together, all the things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Very low in society today.
Yeah.
But the point is
Exactly.
that the advice that you just gave, that wisdom that you're sharing with us, the question was to young moms, but really, I mean, young wives, but really, like I said, I'm going to grab onto that too.
Yeah, because like I always tell people, because we've been together so long, so like our friends and acquaintances that we run into, they always say, what's the secret? What's the secret? And we really don't have a secret. And I always say, like, I feel like from our journey and then talking to other people and mentoring other people and sharing with other people, I feel like marriage itself goes in cycles of like 7. I say like that first 7 years is a cycle, and if you can get through that first 7, you're good. But from 7 to 14, it's gonna have that slow uphill, and then it's gonna drop, and then it'll go back up again, and then it'll drop and it'll go back again. And like cycles of 7 is what I always say. So like when you're looking at things, like I said, not to look too far ahead, but just know like cycles of 7. So we're good now, but it's gonna get bad again, but we'll be good again. And just knowing that comes and that goes, and not to lose hope, not to be faint of heart. And shout out to your parents. I always tell my kids, like, your dad and I are the exception to the rule. Do not do what we did, because it does not work. We are the exception to the rule. But now I have another couple to say it can work, but oh gosh, I would not recommend, highly would not recommend
right.
to get married at 19.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. But it's important what you, in reference to the cycles of 7. Mm-hmm. So everyone knows here that when I'm not recording these amazing conversations on this podcast, I am a mindset coach, a goal strategist, a communication expert. And so what I always do with my clients when we have our sessions, especially in the beginning, is to just let them know up front, like, hey, we're going to establish a goal. We're going to make an excellent plan. It's going to be solid, but brace yourself. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You need to go into it knowing there are going to be challenges. It's going to get difficult, but that you can get through them, around them, under them, over them, whatever, past it, right? But I think a lot of people, when it comes to these things we want to do in life, and we can definitely consider marriage and motherhood a thing, that women, do not, that's not who we are, it's what we do, right?
Exactly.
We forget that there's not just a possibility of challenges, it's a probability of challenges.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like the minute you're like, I'm gonna be great, it's like, okay, well, here are some great challenges to prove yourself, and then a lot of people meet some resistance, or they encounter a challenge, and they go, oh, well, this must not be
exactly,
this must not
this is too much,
you must not be the one. What is what?
Right, exactly.
The one to take all your problems away, that's Jesus. And he even still said, hey, the world's going to give you a hard time for following me, but do it anyway.
Do it anyway. Exactly. Do it anyway. That is a good analogy. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think that, just circling back to marriage and motherhood, it's not a fairy tale, right? Like, we're queens, we're our kings are finding us, and we're raising, kingdom children, and we're doing all those things. But just to be very honest and realistic, because that's what we do here on this podcast, is to say, hey, girl, no one promised you every day, no problems.
Yes.
Right? As a matter of fact, we're here to be like, hey, there are problems, and we're talking about them. So you're not alone.
Absolutely. Definitely not alone. And know that they are coming, and some of them do feel like they're going to break you. But I always like the motto, bend but don't break. Like you're gonna
Mm.
bend and you're gonna just to be about you might even splinter a little bit, but don't crack. Do not
Yes.
break all the way. You gotta lean into your relationship with the Lord. Definitely. That is like my number one thing. Whatever you're going through in life, you've just got to take it to God and trust that He's gonna work it out. And then have a support system. We say it takes a village to raise kids, but it takes a village to have a successful marriage, successful home life, even in work. Like it takes everybody working together, helping each other, uplifting one another, so that when I'm weak, you can pour into me, but then once you pour into me, I can then return the favor and pour into you when you're weak as well. Because it's not for the faint of heart. I tell that to everybody. Marriage and motherhood is not for no punks. You've got to be ready to go to war. And when I say go to war, I'm not talking, fist fighting your husband. I'm talking about fighting those thoughts and those feelings of wanting to give up, wanting to fist fight your husband, being able to battle that and walk through it. To have a teenager and want to kick their teeth out and put them out. And it's like, I can't do that. That's my baby. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And my fur baby is barking. Get him out of here.
I got one of those.
So yeah, like you've just got to lean in and have that support system. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. So, you've also got an extra element here as you were navigating womanhood still very early on. What were your challenges like being a teen mom?
Oh my gosh. So first off, nobody, of course, thought that I was ready to have a baby, and I probably wasn't. But God does all things well. So the first thing was just dealing with that doubt, that level of doubt. My husband's mother and we had like a rocky start. And looking back on it now, I always say that if my son came home today, because he's the age that we were then, if he came home, or like the year, because we had our first, then I'm a few months older than my husband, like 9 months older than him. So I was already graduated, but he was still in high school when we decided, oh, we're moving out, we're getting married, and we're going to have this baby. We did plan it. It was not, a oops. Both of us felt like we wanted to be together and we wanted to get married. And when I decided not to go away to college, the only way we felt like that they would let us be Romeo and Juliet and be in love and live with each other is if we ended up having a baby. So we were like, let's make a baby. Oh my God, dumbest thing. I love my son to death. Absolutely. But it was like, who told, like, I didn't have a village. I didn't run that by anybody. But
there was no meeting.
There was no council of girlfriends. We just said, you know what, let's just make a baby. And then they have to let us be together. So we did. And looking back on it, if my son came home and told me his senior year of high school that, me and my girlfriend are getting married, she's pregnant, and I'm going to go live with her for this last year of school. Like, the baby was at his graduation. We always tell the story of, like, when we got married, people were like, oh, what are you guys going to do for your honeymoon? It's like, nothing. He's got school Monday. Or there was a time when my car wouldn't start or something and I had to get to work and I had to call the school to get a hold of him. I'm like, my husband's in second period and something's wrong with my car. So I don't want to take up all your time telling all of our cute little stories, but it was crazy. But being a woman at 19, I was physically able to do what, I was doing, but not mentally prepared, and there was a lot of doubt that was spewed at me. Of course, the embarrassment and the letdown of my mother and all of my family. I was supposed to graduate high school and go on to become a doctor. I did a vocational program in high school where I graduated as a licensed practical nurse, as an LPN. So I was able to do that and have a great career. I've been a nurse for the last 21 years. But just that letdown, and you know how we are as women of color and mothers, period. We're not shy when our feelings are hurt. We're not shy when we've been let down. And at that time, being pregnant, your hormones are raging, and I just felt like I did the dumbest thing ever. And I let everybody down, and everybody was mad at me, and then nobody thought I could do it. You're never going to be anything. God bless that baby because y'all are so young. You need a baby like you need a hole in the head. And that's just stuff that people say, not realizing what that does to that person's mental and that person's psyche. So as a young mother also, and being a woman of color, with a career, because I was 19, but I was a nurse making decent money. I'm not gonna say that, but to go to the doctor with my baby and they're like, oh, you have Medicaid, you need a referral. I don't have Medicaid, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. Like, I have an employer. Like, I'm a whole adult here. And it's like, and then they just see past you because you look so young, or because you present young, because you don't even know how old I am. But it's just automatic. Oh, you're here for welfare? No. Like, it's like just stuff like that. Just the stigmatism of being a young mother. Oh, she just must have been spreading her legs for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. No, my baby was planned. Like, this wasn't just, live life carefree. Oops, I made a mistake. This was planned. I decided to do this, and now I'm going to make the best of it. I don't know if I want to say it, and it did. It put a chip on my shoulder, because then I had a point to prove at that point. But was it tough? It was absolutely tough. Being able to just tell my mom, and here I was already graduated, already working as a nurse, but I was still living at home, and to have to tell my mom, now I'm pregnant. And it's like, oh, you so stupid. Why would you do, stuff like that? Why would you do that? And it hurts. And everybody got over it eventually, and everybody healed from it eventually. But I became very protective of my marriage and of, my title as being a mom. I had a point to prove to everybody. And that's advice that I like to try to give women too all the time, that when somebody doubts you, you better make it 10% your priority to shut up all the haters. And we're all always going to have haters. We're all going to have somebody that always doubts us or tells us that we can't do something. And I just feel like it's your priority when you set your mind to something. And I tell my kids that all the time too. When you set your mind to something, you better darn well finish it out and carry it out. And just remember who you are and who God called you to be and who God created you to be. And that everything that happens in your life, He knew about it before you even got here. So just trust in Him and walk in it, because it's definitely going to be tough. But there's bright times ahead. Like, I look back on it now, I had an aunt that, while everybody was shaming me for being young and being pregnant and not going off to college and stuff like that, I had an aunt pull me to the side and say, everybody's telling you that you did this the wrong way. She said, but I want to tell you, you did it the right way. She said, because one, it was your decision to do this, whether, you made the baby on purpose and decided to keep it or did not decide, whatever you did, it was your decision. She said, and that baby's going to grow up with you. Like you said, you grew up with your parents, and you two are going to have such a special connection, because one, you can relate, just because you're young. She's like, and think about it, when you're 40, she was like, your kids will be grown and you'll still be young enough to like live life and do everything and like just still be fabulous and travel the world and all this stuff. She's like, you guys did it great. She was like, I would rather you do it now than to be 75 when the baby is going off to college. And it's like, so I don't want to say that we're considered the cool parents or whatever, but there is a sense of, not friendship, like you said, it's not in a disrespectful way, because our kids know that we are mom and we are dad, but Absolutely. There's that edge there that it's like, oh, mom knows what's going on TikTok, or, we can play this song and we can do these dances together and stuff like that. Just different things, or just knowing that, like, what they face and what they see, because I'm on social media. So, I know what it looks like or what they're facing, and I can try to help them navigate certain things from an adult perspective, but I'm not too far removed from where they are in their lives. Especially my oldest son. He sings Luther and Michael Jackson and stuff like that, versus
that was me.
Beyonce versus all the hip hop. Like, he likes all our music, all of the stuff we like. He's an old soul, we say, because he grew up with us. Yeah. Basically, but yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you for being so transparent. It's not easy to get up here on a platform and just kind of air your business like that. But
Yeah.
the self-sacrifice is not in vain, because there's someone out there that can identify
Yes.
and can relate, whether or not they're able to admit it out loud or to someone else or even to themselves, right? Like, we never really know the true impact that we have a lot of the times. So, thank you for putting it out there without any sort of anticipated return, right? There's no studio audience to give you immediate feedback and clap for you and give you flowers, right? Like, you don't have that. But so, and in knowing that, you still sharing is a huge deal. And what I heard is there's no perfect way to get into parenthood.
No.
Like, you're either going to be young and then people will judge you for having been young, but then later you have the benefit of having your youth still, like my parents. Or you could be, like me in my, oh gosh, where I am in life, still, or, just now getting started into parenthood, and then doctors looking at you, the clock is ticking. But what is it? Which one is it? Do I go to college first? Do I have my kids first? It doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter. That's right.
You do what it is that you're doing. You trust God in the process, and everyone just needs to have more grace with everyone, because making y'all is not easy. So I tell my husband, he'll never experience pregnancy. Making y'all is not easy.
It's not.
Be nice to me.
Yes.
Cool. So I heard you mention really quickly, because time always flies. We always have.
I know.
You mentioned being on social media, and so let's talk a little bit about that. And we've been having such great conversations on this podcast lately. So don't be surprised, Brittany, we bring you back for like a part 2.
Absolutely.
Because we have not been able to peel back all the layers of how amazing you are. But I want to have you talk a little bit about what it's like being a content creator over 30. And I'm going to lean in because that's me too. So tell us your thoughts and your perspective on that.
Okay, so I got into becoming a content creator, like I said, probably about a year ago now. I've always been like that fashion girl, the it girl. My sister was laughing at me because like the high school football team, like the Friday nights, they do a theme like every night. So last Friday was like pink out or whatever, where everybody was supposed to wear pink for breast cancer awareness, and I didn't have on pink. My sister's like, why don't you have on pink? I said, my outfits have been planned for a month, so they were messing up my flow of my gear. So I've always just been like that fashion girly. Everybody comes to me for like advice. How does this look? What should I wear with this? I'm going here. What should I wear? My mom, so like my hair changes constantly. I love shopping. I love getting dressed. And so whenever I get the chance to get dressed up and go out, I'll always have my kids take pictures of me. Take my picture, for me to just post on my social media. And like I have friends that my nickname is like, oh, she puts it on. So it's like, I gotta stunt for my friends, I put it on. So take my picture. And then somebody said, you should start being like an influencer. And then my husband was like, well, what is that? And then I know what it was, because I watch YouTube, look on TikTok or whatever. When I want to know, like, oh, I'm going here, what should I wear? Or all white party for plus size girls, I'm Googling. And then just being plus size, being a mom, being over 30, I felt like there was a void there. And it's like, oh, I can fit that shoe. I'm not the only one out there over 30 plus size that loves to put it on. So let me try to find some people to connect with. And so oddly enough, my 11-year-old daughter was like, you should get on TikTok. And when she showed me TikTok and how it worked, and I found the plus size mom side of TikTok, I was in heaven. And I was doing it with my cell phone, either my phone or one of the kids' phones, filming my videos and putting them out there. Like you said, like we talked about in the beginning before we got started, you just got to start. And when I started, it just blew up overnight. I was so amazed. I couldn't believe it. I still have questions sometimes on how to navigate certain things or certain trends that I see, like the transitions and stuff. Like, how do I do that? My kids have to come in and help me. But it's been amazing. Just the overwhelming response of positivity that I've gotten. from being on TikTok. My Instagram and my Facebook are kind of slow, and I'm not sure why. I got to get with a tech person or another content creator to help me figure that out, so that it can be as big as my TikTok. But TikTok and Amazon are like my zhuzh, where I have all the followers, and most of my content gets most of the attention and attraction and stuff. But when I tell you it's so fun, it is so fun to just get dressed, because now I can get dressed and do it, and I don't necessarily have to have anywhere to go. Like, I have some videos I have to shoot today when we're done. A company sent me some clothes, and I don't want to get on the camera looking crazy, so I get to make up my face, do my hair, and then try on these free clothes that I got. It's like, it's a total win-win.
I love it.
My husband is not looking at the account talking about, what did you buy now? It's like, when the packages come, it's like, oh, that was free. So it's like, it's such a win-win. I get to fulfill my hobby. I get to do what I love. And, I'm not breaking the bank. We got kids to put through college. So,
yeah,
it's so cool. I never thought that it would blow up the way that it did. And I'm just so grateful and thankful to God that, when you, like I said earlier, when you put your mind to something, you just got to do it and run with it. And it's been great.
That's awesome. So, Britney, we have entered the segment of the podcast called The Final Word. Okay, so this basically means it could be a reiteration of something you've already said, or it could be something we haven't had a chance to touch on yet, but briefly, this is what you want the woman who's listening. She's about to get out of her car. She just parked. She's waiting for this episode to wrap up, and you're like, boom, girl, this. What is the final word that you want to share today?
So this is the final word for you guys. Sis, you are amazing. And as amazing as you are today, you're going to be that amazing again tomorrow. You're going to learn something new about yourself today. And then tomorrow, everything that you thought you knew is going to go out the window, because you're going to change again. Roll with the punches. Continue to evolve, continue to grow, and continue to be amazing in whatever space in your life that you're in. You are so dope, and you are so amazing. Trust in it, walk in it. Final word.
Yes, that's it. That's it. You're amazing. I love it. Britney, thank you so much for spending time with us here in this space of Crown Level Confidence, where we are leading women worldwide to lower their stress and raise their level of confidence. It's been such a pleasure. Like I said, y'all don't be surprised when she's back for part 2, because we hardly scratched the surface on how amazing she is and what she has to offer, and her message that she can share. So if you're not already, go ahead and hop into our Facebook group, Crown Level Confidence Between Episodes, right? You're going to want to connect with Britney there. Leave her some positive words of affirmation. Leave her a takeaway. Ask her a question, right? We didn't even touch on so many different things that she can lend her expertise to. And I know that she wants to connect with you as well. But here's the thing. I'm going to remind you, don't get crazy in her inbox, okay? We are women of excellence. We are women of professionalism. Yes, we're casual. Yes, we kiki and we ha-ha. But we are not time wasters, right, ladies? We are about what we're about. And that means when we reach out to make connections, that we're genuine, we're respectful, we're kind, and clearly you will be met with the same. So y'all, this has been a fantastic episode. I cannot wait for y'all to, like I said, give your feedback, hop in the group, share your thoughts, and until next week, y'all have a wonderful, blessed day.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into another empowering episode of Crown Level Confidence with Kalia Janae. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found it both insightful and inspiring. If you'd like to be a featured guest on the show and share your journey of confidence and self-belief, please reach out to me at podcast@kaliajanae.com. I'm always eager to connect with remarkable individuals who have a story to tell. And for those interested in connecting with me for speaking engagements or mindset coaching, you can find more information on my website, kaliajanae.com. I'd love to hear from you and explore how we can work together to inspire and empower others. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode filled with actionable tips and heartfelt stories. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd truly appreciate it if you could leave a review on your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and inspire even more people to straighten their crowns. Remember, your journey to unstoppable confidence is a continuous adventure. I'm happy to support you every step of the way. Keep believing in yourself, keep shining, and always wear your crown with pride. Until next time, this is Kalia Janae, your host, signing off. Stay confident, stay empowered, and keep leveling up.